All right, we're gonna get started in a little bit. What the hell? Just another minute or so. Just about ready here. All right, let's start explaining, I guess, what I'm up to. So let's get the screen up here. So motivation-wise, I've been trying to find a way to build front-end web apps in a way that doesn't deal with the pain of the ecosystem. I'm okay with JavaScript. I'm okay, especially with TypeScript. And I even like component-oriented stuff, so React and Vue is really great. Those add a lot of complexity, though, to the pipeline. It makes it difficult to... Basically, a lot of stuff has to happen between you hitting save and seeing the changes. And so, you know, an alternative is to, you know, for a while I was trying to think, well, what if I could do all of that compilation stuff in Go or something that's a lot faster that would help out Unfortunately, there's too much infrastructure for it to handle. Different compilers, all of what Babel does, and then assembling and doing different, like, there's so many different ways you can include files. So if I were to just be able to write it in Go, that would be kind of nice, because I don't have the ecosystem, but at least I have a new ecosystem that sort of like doesn't have all the problems. This has nothing to do with it, by the way. And I was playing with doing something like so with the Go+wasm stuff. Well, so Go+JS has been a while, and that was something that compiles from Go to JavaScript, and so you might think, well, that's maybe what I should use. Though, if you think about it with a WebAssembly, it sort of makes this a little less necessary. But what they did do is there were some frameworks and stuff that were emulating stuff like React. Unfortunately, recreating React in Go doesn't feel right. Like, the ergonomics aren't right. The language isn't aligned with its design. One is JSX, like trying to get that kind of embedded template markup in a way that doesn't feel like, that's syntax highlighted and, can be embedded with Go, is not there, right? I think Rust has macros, and so they have something that works pretty okay in their sort of React-like thing. Though, and I thought about Rust, because it's sort of like, well, that seems like I don't particularly love Rust, the language, but it's sort of like, well, let's maybe if they have it figured out, I could use it. I think it was you that I was looking at. I was just looking at like what a component looks like in this, and it's just so verbose. It's kind of what everybody was saying, and the way that they have, like, let's see, I think I was looking at to do MVC or something. And maybe part of it's the design of this, but it's got this cool macro thing, but everything else was very I just didn't I didn't like it. And I'm trying to remember what the Go+JS library was, because the thing is that those libraries depend on this JS module that sort of emulates a JavaScript object, and you could just drop in, replace a version of this that interfaces, bridges to the JavaScript environment via WASM. And so you kind of take a Go+JS library and it would mostly work. There are some, I found out there's a couple of like edge cases and things that are kind of getting in the way of that, but pretty close. But even then, the way it looks, I'm trying to remember. Let's see, Go+JS. Vecti. Let's see if we can find some examples. So you basically end up the way you, instead of JSX, you model all your components and markup as function calls, which kind of works, right? It's like you can have children and you know, whatever, but I hate how this feels. It's like at this point I might as well do templates. And templates kind of feels like, you know, kind of the canonical way to do a lot of this sort of thing in Go. Even though the template language is not ideal. So the other thing I started was a prototype of the Vue template language in Go. And I have a proof of concept that works pretty well. Right, I can do conditionals, and I can bind attributes, and it's actually using Go templating for the string interpolation in non stuff, and this works pretty well. So this is kind of one part of what I was going for, and this could be useful outside of this project, even if you don't use WASM or want this web framework. Could be a good template engine. The thing I was working on here was just something to automatically reload, detect when you change the source, and then recompile WASM, and then send a message to the browser to just reload. So it's kind of my like poor man's hot reload. And so those are kind of the two sides that I have. And the reason why I'm picking Vue is because I think that it kind of works a little bit better with Go. You know, a Vue instance you can imagine is just a struct. Let's see, where's the Vue docs? And you know, we wouldn't be able to do everything exactly the same in terms of their data binding because of you know, not having proxies or whatever in JavaScript, but you know, we can kind of do the equivalent of this, and then this is sort of a lower level primitive that then components are built on top of in Vue. And so, and all of these are based on like a template, and that template can either be defined inline here or a template file or whatever. And I felt like that's better than, you know, if we don't have JSX, which I love, this is kind of a great alternative. And I think, so I feel like the Vue paradigm fits with Go a little bit better. So yeah, I've got basically this templating prototype, and then separately I have this little hello world. And as soon as I get this to start recompiling and updating the browser, I'm going to try and get this to actually render HTML, and we'll just spit that out into the browser environment from WASM, and just kind of like replace the document with that or something. Like, I know these things will like do a shadow DOM and diff and all that stuff, but for now, for simplicity, and you know, I know that Vue's rendering actually renders something that builds a new DOM. In this case, I'm actually rendering, you know, just spitting out to an IO. So for now, it's sort of, it's sort of the equivalent of like server-side rendering, right? Because when a server renders something for Vue or some, you know, some partial or whatever, it's not going to get, you know, it's not DOM instructions, it's HTML, and so those are just then mounted. So I kind of think of it like that, like the WASM component is a little server that lives inside the browser that can give it, you know, some pieces of HTML to replace the page with for now. Yeah, okay, so that's kind of the first goal, is to get it to output some stuff on the page, but to set up for that, I want to get this working. It's actually recompiling this. When I change the file, I just need to get this to, and I actually have something that will, the page will reload. I just need to connect those up so that when it finishes building, so the problem is I could just do a single channel or something, but like potentially there could be multiple pages. So you don't want to have multiple of these receiving. I'm trying to think. I feel like there's a Go primitive that would give me what I want. Like maybe a condition. I just forget how to use them. A mutex, huh? I think you can. I mean, it's an event. I'm trying to broadcast an event, so. I generally know how to use conditions, but I just want to like revisit it. And that's not usually how I see it being used. I don't actually want to read the fucking article. I just want to like see my use case. Yeah. What's the difference between signal and broadcast? One Go routine. Okay. What if I don't need this lock? maybe I just want to some kind of broadcast an event. Not like a, you know. I mean, I've written this too a bunch of times. I don't really want like a whole like event system. I'm just trying to think like the simplest way to do. I have an idea. I have an idea. So, it's actually, and in theory, I would have a mutex or something on here too, but I mean, I might as well do that too then. So the idea is I will create a channel here. Lock. Reload channel equals. And then my broadcast would just be closing them all. What happens if you close a closed channel? Alright, let's do a map instead. Alright. It's never gonna stop bothering me about that. That's really frustrating too. because it has nothing to do with what I'm doing. I'll have to figure that out later. Hi, WebAssembly. So it seems to have like cached it or something. Let's see here. Let's get it to run automatically. Run. Oh no, because it's not loaded yet. Let's see, what can I do? Polyfill. Run button disabled false. Here's where I do run. All right. Well, I don't know if it's because sometimes it works. Huh. It mostly works. Well, anyway, so now we have our thing that reloads in real time. Let's look at this guy. So I'm gonna turn back to this this project. Right now it doesn't actually output HTML, it outputs like a more readable struct, or like a representation of the HTML. I guess what I would do is close. What's going on here, though? I don't know what this extra shit is. Oh. Yeah. I tried replacing this with a div. This is a weird hack because for some reason this library, HTML parsing library, is like, it really doesn't want to give you non-valid HTML, so it will wrap everything in an HTML tag and a body. It's frustrating. I had to kind of hack it to give me a fragment, but I couldn't make the outer fragment a div, otherwise it complains. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Like any kind of valid HTML thing, it's like inconsistent node, whatever the fuck that means. So whatever, doc. I'll just make a silly little adders thing. What is it? String to string. String of strings. Shit. I mean, we'll just do the dumbest thing that works. What is the dumbest thing? I might as well just do this. So that works. I think it's a hi. Buster. James. Parbaz. So let's see. Now we're outputting HTML. I can just copy this into the other thing and let's see, how does this gateway work? Isn't there some way to result instance? So without getting too much into the whole, there's like a JavaScript syscall package, but on the Go side, I just want to see an example of a function that returns a string. I mean, give me something that returns some. All right, I guess I'm supposed to use those syscall library. Why is he putting gRPC in all this? Alright, let's just do something like this. Do we not have this? I'm running 111. Maybe that is, I don't know. Do you think this will work? Didn't want to do any of this stuff. Even though it didn't fail. Seems like they're missing some code. Let's try this. That's cool. I love code examples that are images that you can't select. Huh. So it is working. I'm guessing maybe there is no document. Right. Document is an abstract thing, right? Or does that actually mean the body? No, I think it's document body, right? Oh, okay. So there's that. Of course, I think, yeah, it doesn't seem to impact the WebSocket that's created to reload the page, so that's good. So we just take all this and data, I guess. We do a writer. I'm gonna do a buffer. First fragment meter tempo. I will need it as a string, so let's just make that happen. Can't do that. All right, let's go back to this template thing. And it seems to work. And it's basically a library now, so see, there's a main here. Alright, now we'll go back to our WASM server, run this, and save. Let's see, is our builder not telling us if there was an error? It should have told us there was an error. There is a cave story. That was fucking Cave Story. That's Cave Story. They threw in a Cave Story reference. Yeah. There we go. Ish. Doesn't really make sense. Oh, that's weird. These don't have wrapping. I don't know where I got this test stuff from, but are you sure? Oh. Yeah, no, that is right, the way this is set up. So anyway, it works. It's the beginning of something. kind of have that. I do have a string version of that. Doku. I haven't touched Doku for years now. Let's see. Algo that gives HTML the DOM. We did that. By the way, thanks for joining, Shaz. What next? What next? I guess some kind of like Vue instance type thing. So does just creating, oh, thanks for following. I wonder if just creating a Vue instance actually does the mounting, or if that's something else has to be done. They make it seem like you don't really have to do anything else. I guess we could kind of start trying to like recreate some of this stuff. Some of it anyway. I don't know. Clone of Vue. I think it has a template too. I don't like how there isn't a very good, like, where's the reference docs for this? Global API. Options. I mean, so I guess these are all the properties and methods on here. All right. Render the returns a V node, but I'll just return some text. Let's see. Although alternative to this, I guess this is what we would call, let's see. Yeah, this is like, we need to find our own thing. Whatever for now. I'll do mount. Let's see, we want to call get by ID. Well, it's not really. Where are the dogs? CSS selector string. Query selector. Okay, we'll do that. Let's see, this is in theory going to give me some element. And then I want to do something like this. So then we can do data would be uh-oh, legal implication. Is it possible we don't have query selector, or? Maybe we don't have it at the moment. Maybe I did a typo. This is the right API though, right? Oh. What were we using before? Something was actually doing the right thing. I feel like my output just went to the log, so if I did query selector. Why can't I invoke it? Yeah, body, I'm just calling it with body. Illegal invocation. That could be it. And then we would do call. Reflect. JavaScript error, reflect.apply. What the fuck is reflect.apply? Maybe that's what it's using behind the scenes. And is it having trouble because the page is not loaded yet, or like we're able to do this by the time we have run called? So I feel like I should be able to call this. Well, let's try it this way again. So there's something about query selector. Oh, that's the other thing. It's using, yeah, it's got doc in there. I kind of want that to not be in there. Doc 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, already this is like kind of interesting, even though it's like duct taped together. I really wish this worked though. But I guess I should try and move forward. Only have like 45 minutes left. Sort of. View instance that mounts to DOM. Event callbacks. All right, let's see. Oops. Guess I should just do backticks for this, right? Is it, did I do it wrong? Is it a single backtick? Okay. Shouldn't it? Yes. RLA, that is exactly what's happening. The button. I see. That's kind of a weird thing for her to do. I guess that's maybe true that I would do name. All right. See, lifecycle hooks don't do anything interesting. This, I guess, is an example of something I should be able to do. Problem is, Go compiles directly to WebAssembly or through mscript. It compiles directly to WebAssembly. This is Go 1.11. built in. Let's see. This just doesn't seem like a realistic example. And some JavaScript, sure. Yeah, it really depends on the code, right? I mean, I guess I'm not going to be able to support arbitrary Go code. But I should be able to do method event handlers. Define methods. All right, so let's do something like this. Feels like these should be just methods. The instance, but how would you make one for this particular instance? So that makes sense. So it could look like like that. I guess we'll do that for now. But it's a function that takes an event. I guess we'll say a JavaScript value. Oops. I guess that's forcing them to all have the same signature. We don't really want that. We'll just do you saw it. Alright, that's doing more than Hello World. Not much more. It's rendering this template with this data. But it's very new. Just started a little over an hour ago. I'd already done like a proof of concept template thing, and then I had to get some infrastructure for the WebAssembly compiling, but kind of putting it together in the last hour or so. Let's see, I guess we'll do something like type methods is a map string fuck for now. And then we can do methods. And then, let's see, maybe we'll do an alert. Hopefully it won't complain about this. Let's get rid of this stupid. Let's start over with this template. Let's do something like, I want to do like this incrementer. Button on click. Here's a number. So that should give us what? I guess I don't actually don't report any errors in the process of this. I wonder what the error could have been. Well, actually what's weird is that body's not getting replaced at all. Oh, I guess this fails before this is run. All right, how do we... It's not a panic. I feel like log fatal would show something. Oh, we're getting something here. Interfaces, no. I mean, is it because this is in a string or? don't think this is what it's supposed to do. This is where it would create a callback, I think. So let's just do the value for now. Now, does that string work? Or this work as an integer? It should. Yeah. And greet doesn't do anything. But now let's see, we get to do something with callbacks, a new callback. Well, actually, I mean, for now we could just make them all take the callback signature. What would that do? How'd we get if we had this method and we wrapped it, we made a callback, we have a function pointer, but I don't think we could. That queues the callback for execution. I mean, I guess for now, what does that mean? We'd have to look up RLA. Thanks. For following. We're gonna we'll see how far I go. You know, if I run into some kind of roadblock, I might stop. But I like the progress so far. Even if it is all smoke and mirrors, like, feels interesting. Feels like we're onto something. But these callbacks now, calling back into Go, I know how to do it. I guess I could create like a it could be some JavaScript, but I'd have to reference the thing to call. If we're doing stuff with the, if we're actually generating the DOM, we can actually like put in, you know, references relative to that element. Like put the greet callback that calls back into Go on the button. But, because that's what Vue does, it generates the DOM stuff, but we're definitely not going to get to the point where this method can mutate this data yet, because that's going to require some more plumbing that can't do in 30 minutes. But I feel like in 30 minutes I can get this button to call this method. I mean, I'm basically thinking we put all of these up into an object, a global object, but it's got to be relative to this instance. I mean, in this case it doesn't, but so need some way to identify this or generate an ID. Now we're getting them to coordinate. All right, I'll just do a manual like ID string. And this is just gonna be like for development. And then when we mount it, we also go through. Let's see, how can I represent like an object? Wait, what? New event callback. Oh. They aren't doing much creating objects and stuff. How would I do that? It looks like I could just do value of. Value of to interface. It's a JS value, it's value. All right. We're gonna make a map. To I guess we'll do this for key value range v methods. Methods key equals JS new callback, right? In which we wrap it with something with the right signature, and then just call V. So say global set ID to the V value of X. So I should be able to just say methods. What's this? So in theory, there's a V1 with a greet. Program has already exited. Well, that's not good. Yeah, they didn't tell us anything about that. I mean, we could just have it select. It's not very satisfying, but it works. It will work. Yeah, so now we just need to get it to, so greet. For now, it's just gonna only be able to call methods on this Vue instance. So I think that would be oh shit. Data. Maybe data is a reference to itself, or we just make whatever. Boop. Well, we did it. Now, obviously, it would be great if we could I have an idea. Check it. We might be able to do this before 7. So alright, we'll do and then here we just need to too many arguments. Too many arguments. Because methods are defined up here. I'll make that take a and it doesn't know what type it is, so let's do Whoa! We made an interactive page in Go with a Vue-like Vue instance thing. And again, like, mount is not doing what we want to do, and there's all kinds of shortcuts, but this is a proof of concept, so after we kind of prove out some more of this stuff, let's see, event callbacks into Go. It's a special case, but it's a good case. So now the idea of having state and reactivity. I mean, probably for part 2 on Thursday. Trying to, let's see, how do I describe this? Basically make this a data structure that can be changed, and when it's changed, it causes a re-render. So that'll take a little bit more thought. So I think I'm gonna wrap up here for today. And my posture trainer's going crazy. I think I'm tired of sitting up straight. This is great. This is really cool. And, you know, the benefit is I can change the code and hit save. And besides this like initial loading of the WASM, like it should be pretty instantaneous in terms of, like, it should be faster. In theory, it should be faster to like change something in code and see it in the browser than doing like React and whatever. But I guess the funny thing is that it's at least comparable right now without all of that mess of Webpack and hot module reloading and all this crazy stuff. So I'm gonna do a recap video, post it to YouTube. Follow if you want to get notified when I do more of these. On my YouTube, I do recaps, which are a little bit more condensed versions of these streams, like 5-10 minute long recaps. Otherwise, thanks for hanging out. RLA, thanks. Cam and Code, thanks for following. Hopefully I'll see you all around. You're welcome. Later, everybody.